Super Bowl wasn't the only big sporting event happening this past weekend rather, in the Northeast. Y'all, the Millrose Games took place last Saturday, and oh man, was it a lot of fun to check out and a sight to behold. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Trap Talk, a part of the Lactic Acid Podcast. I'm your host, Dominic Smith, and today we're going to talk a little bit about it. Now, I'm not going to make a long video that kind of goes through event by event, even though I could, because we could easily talk about Dylan Beard and how he should A, be sponsored by a shoe sponsor, and B, balled out in the men's 60-meter hurdles running a world lead. We could talk about Masai Russell running an incredible time, a world lead in the women's hurdles. We could talk about so many things. We could talk about Georgia Bell and the incredible race that she had. We could talk about Whitney Morgan balling out in the women's 3K. There's so many things we could get to, but I am just going to limit it to a couple, and I'm going to limit it to the ones that happen to stand out to me that were my favorites. No shade at anybody, but these were the ones. If you missed it, y'all, you missed a treat. And listen, that could go for every event, but these are the events that I'm just thinking back on and said, wow. This was crazy. And listen, we have to go to the distance. We do. We have to start with the men's 3K because in this meet, there were two world records that were broken. There were so many world leads that were set, but there were two world records that were broken. And Grant Fisher took home the men's 3K world record. And listen, he challenged everybody a little bit earlier and said, listen, I'm going for the American record. Come with me. Who is with me? Who's going to challenge me? And Cole Hawker, I'm going to get to him in just 1 second. But Grant Fisher came out a man on a mission. He followed the pacer. Hawker took the lead. And then Grant Fisher used an incredible kick around the back end of the track, coming around the curve, taking the lead, storming past Hawker, winning the race, setting the world record with his time of 7 minutes 22 seconds point 91. So 7:22:91. I know I said that wrong. My bad. I was a journalism major, not math. 7:22:91. Y'all, that was in freaking insane. It smashed the previous world record that was 7:23:81. And that's crazy. And that was just set a couple years ago. Cole Hawker, I said I wanted to get to Cole Hawker. Cole Hawker, we know he's great. He showed that in the Olympics. But for whatever reason, he said, listen, I'm looking, and it's been reported he's looking at to do, looking up to do the 5K in certain events and being great at some of these other events other than the 1500. But he said, check this out. I'm here. I'm here. I'm going to challenge you. And Hawker basically said, you know what? Bump all that. I'm going past Grant Fisher, and he held the lead for a couple laps. Now, the crazy thing about it is, I thought Hawker was going to win. And Hawker for his kick, he got out kicked, but he ran fearless. And I think that he pushed Grant Fisher to that world record. Hawker finished right behind him, the exact time that I'm looking at, 7:23:14. But guess what? That time would have broken the world record. So it was just an incredible race. So many just little records, various countries were setting records. That was such a fast race, and it was a great way to start off when it comes to some of the records that were being set. There was another world record broken by the Goose, Yard and the Goose. He took over the Wanamaker Mile and he balled out. Him and Hobbs Kessler, y'all. Let me tell you something. This is indoor season. Outdoor season is going to be insane when it comes to some of these races. But Yard and the Goose said, check this out. I'm that man. This is his third time winning the Wanamaker Mile. Now he is a world record holder in it, running 3:46:63. That's crazy. Hobbs Kessel was right behind him. Hobbs Kessel pushed him 3:46:90. Both of those times are under the previous world record, which was 3:47. So that is just insane that 3:47:01 was the exact time. They both said it, but they both killed it. And it just speaks to the level of greatness that we're seeing in the sport of running, whether it's on the distance and the sprints. Speaking of the sprints, there's so many things and there's so many ways I could have attack this because there were so many great performances. But one performance that stood out to me was the women's 60. Now, we did see the U13 world record get broken 713. That was just insane. And that's another story for another video. But Jason Sears, my bad. The way that she ran, and it's not just that she ran fast, is that nobody was close. Nobody was close. You look at just the talent that was in the field. Aaliyah Hobbs was in that field. You look at just so many other athletes, but she put the pedal to the metal, and it wasn't even close. She won the women's 60 world leading time 7:02. And like I said, she is going to go into USA's, obviously with a chance to compete in World Indoors, which is in China. And it's a great year for her because, listen, if you know anything about her, she balled out at Tennessee. She had the world leading time last year. Unfortunately, suffered an injury. My friend Anderson Emerald got a chance to talk with her coach after from Tennessee. And he just said, listen, we are looking at the long-term picture. There's no need to rush back, even though she could have came back and competed at USA's, had a chance to make the Olympic team. But there was a bigger picture. And so now she's going to go on the biggest stage, possibly compete for a title, in China if she makes the team at USA's, which will be in New York in a couple weeks, and showcase why she's one of the best. 7:02, and her times keeps dropping. So it is insane the progression that she is making, and it's so cool to see because she is such an elite runner. And then the women's 100, like we already know, and there's a video coming out on this soon that I'm going to make and talk about it, especially with the indoor season and then just how long the season is. Indoor doesn't always translate to outdoor, but she's shown in the outdoor circuit that she is big time. And so I'm excited to see what she does. Some of the stars aren't running indoor this year. Some of the big names, Julian Alfred's not running indoor, so there are certain names that are not running. Obviously, somebody like Aaliyah Hobbs has the second fastest time. She has the American record. You cannot discount her by any means. So we'll have to see what happens there. But I'm telling you, you need to watch out for her. My last person who balled out that I gotta give flowers to is Sister Katie Moon. Katie Moon, listen, vaulted a new world lead, 4.82 meters, and that is a world lead. It's one of her best jumps in the indoor circuit, and she has been the model of consistency. She came on lactic acid. Please check that show out. I'll put the cards and everything for that so you can check that episode out. But she came on the show, had a few changes, and now she's just balling out, just having fun. Things are a little different now. She's living in Oklahoma. And so it's just cool to see all that come together. But you talk about a model of consistency. That's been Katie Moon. And so we know that her indoor will translate to the outdoor. So that's never been an issue. So it is just amazing to see the progression that she continues to make and how strong the women's pole vault is. Talk about Nina Kennedy. You talk about Katie Moon. There's so many Sandy Morris. There's so many incredible athletes who are competing. And y'all, that's just what makes the sport great. Listen, we were on a little hiatus when it comes to track talk, but we coming back. We're going to do another video on this. But let me ask you something. Who were some of your favorite performances and performers as well from the Millrose Games? The Armory is a unique place. Always gotta love it. So listen, that is the end of this video. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you're updated with all the new episodes when they come out, podcast episodes and track talk. And we will catch you next time. Love, peace, and chicken grease.